Hello, my name is Genesis Illada, and it's my pleasure to introduce Schechter. He's an architect with over 50 years experience and also the founder and president of LightPath Educational Center in Bend, Oregon. And he's here to share a fascinating story with us. Lawrence, how might we focus on the highlights of your story?
Well, let's imagine we have a high-powered telescope to perceive the infinite outreach of creation and a microscope to perceive this, at some atomic level, the in-breath of conception. Then let's next focus our inner vision to recognize what shapes our consciousness and our space and time.
So how does your vision relate to our time in this moment?
Well, time as we know it in conventional terms is related to our planetary movements within the solar system. But in the universal context, our conventional time frame is an illusion. Einstein reminded us of that, saying that the past, present, and future are simultaneous. And within that continuum, we were born as stardust, linked to limitless, timeless potential, power, and intelligence.
Wow. So from this perspective, where do you see us now?
I see us in a natural cycle of reconfiguration. Actually, there are no accidents, we know that. We may now recognize that humanity is reaching the limits of one form of evolution, setting below the surface another generation. We may liken it to the rosebud that gradually offers up its next generation with unfolded splendor.
What did you understand as the rationale for this extraordinary download of information?
Well, many years ago, I received a phone call from a woman by the name of Donna who said that she and her husband had been seeking an architect and they thought I was the one to design a spiritual retreat center for them on their property at Mount Shasta. And she described it as a place of higher education where people would come for short-term residential retreats for up to 32 guests at a time. And it would promote their mental, physical, and spiritual advancement. And I told her that that sounded very familiar to me because I'd already had a dream about that. And so we met at their site, and it was a beautiful spot on the side of Mount Shasta. We looked over the terrain, and we figured out where it would really fit best. But I made it clear to them that I had no experience really doing that kind of thing, and I didn't know anyone else who had. But I promised them one thing. I would only proceed if I got direct inspiration from upstairs.
Wow, this spiritual guidance, right?
Yeah.
So can you describe how your thinking shifted to a higher level during this download?
Actually, the absolute power and clarity of the channeled intelligence seemed so vastly expanded from my normal intuitive nature. But something about it was so familiar, as though a presence of a higher frequency and of time and space.
So Lawrence, can you tell us how that shift navigated your consciousness?
Well, yeah, my sensation of it is that both hemispheres were felt to perceive the infinite building design reflection of an omnipresent center of the universal order into a finite building. The conceptual shaping of space within sacred geometry came as a choiceless awareness to my intuitive faculties, and my cerebral intelligence rendered them in three-dimensional terms.
So how did you prepare yourself for this responsibility?
Well, at the outset of transforming the original sketch into an architectural design, I contemplated the organizational principle implied in the concept. I researched the essential components of sacred geometry to understand the metaphors of geometry and proportional laws of sound frequencies known to advanced ancient civilizations. I also learned that modern science now recognizes that at the subatomic level, Our perceptual faculties flow through a vast spectrum of vibratory frequencies that might be called the geometry of consciousness.
So how did the design process unfold from there?
Following meditation with the original sketch in one hand, I imagined the plan to reflect an expansive feeling in my heart space, and the rational geometry of 16 bedrooms for the retreat guests provided dimensional clarity. The ground floor plan evolved over a long period of time based upon the essential footprint of the second floor layout that was originally received in the conceptual development. And daytime activity areas on the first level were designed to enhance mental clarity, physical vitality, and raising organic food, cooking, dining, physical fitness, and a very special space set aside for subtle harmonic resonance of group co-creation. The upper mezzanine was dedicated to meditation as the foundation for inner guidance. Its geometric configuration symbolizes heaven on earth, represented by heaven as the circle, without beginning or end, and earth represented by the square configuration of the building and the skylight at its peak. Sacred geometry shapes the temple of higher learning as a tuning fork of energy in harmony with the rhythms and order of nature, incorporating feng shui, as well as eco-intelligent technologies.
Fascinating. How will this building embody the eco-intelligent technology?
It will feature healthy building practices above all. If it's not healthy, why build it? But in this case, we want it to be vibrant. We wanted to optimize health and vitality in every level of being, physical, mental, and spiritual. And so we're using passive solar energy for cooling and heating, and we'll be using roof-mounted photovoltaic panels on south-facing roof panel facets for generating about 60% of all the energy in the building. And to supplement that, we'll actually be drawing heat out of the earth with geothermal system that will help enhance the radiant floor system. Overall, we will have a building that will breathe like an entity that is alive.
Well, that is an eco-intelligent design. So how does LightPath now envision the future development of MorningStar?
Well, we plan to build this timeless temple of higher learning within a small campus of the LightPath Educational Center in the vicinity of Bend, Oregon. And it may become a prototype for a broad network of centers dedicated to the advancement of human consciousness. That's our vision.
Fascinating. Thank you so much, Lawrence. You are such a visionary, and I look forward to the building of the MorningStar Retreat Center.
Thank you, Genesis. This has been wonderful.
Yes, thank you.